So I've had a couple people ask me about how I put together my hammocks. I just made 3 new ones. I'm going to make a 4th one for a friend. So I figured I'd go through real quick and quickly show you how I sewed the hammock. For starters, the hammock that's in the center is the hammock that we're going to make. This bigger piece of material is what we're going to make the new hammock out of, and it comes out to about 11.5 feet long, 72 inches wide. I sew on a bag right on one side, and this also has 4 different channels for foot boxes. As you can see, I got the bungee right here, and this goes all the way to here. So you can do them on any one of the 4 corners. The other thing that I think I do that's a little different than most people is I sew this 3 times, and my hammock actually attaches like this. I don't actually cinch up the ends. So what that does allow is when you are hanging the hammock, it allows good spread. So you get you take full advantage of the width of the material. So for starters, a lot of people end up cutting off this edge. I keep it because when you're folding it over twice, you don't even see it, so I cut it off. And plus, these little frays right here, they actually keep the threads from coming off. So if you cut it, you basically, it'll fray till it gets to around 1/4 inch like this is, and then it'll stop fraying. So I'll show you more what I'm talking about later when we start sewing. The total length of this piece is 12 feet, and that'll come out to about 11.5 foot, 11 and 3 inches, 11.5 feet. So I'm just going to get on the sewing machine real quick, and what we'll do is we'll start by sewing the ends, or excuse me, not the ends, but the sides. So what we'll do is we'll fold the sides over, then we'll sew 4 channels, then we'll end up sewing the hem on this side. And after I'm done, I'll show you kind of how the hammock looks when it's sitting, or when it's set up. So, but as you can kind of see, got a nice foot box right here, really easily adjustable. Okay, just to give you guys a quick idea of what I'm doing, one thing I like about not cutting this edge off is you have these perforations that you can follow. So essentially what I'm doing is just making one fold. Of course, this goes down the length of the hammock. So let's say I might put the crease at that first perforation. Then I just do another fold. So essentially I have something like this. So I'll sew along the whole length of this, and I will show you the next step. So I'm about to do my first stitch, and I just want to show you real quick. Whenever you create a new path of sewing, you always want to close your stitch, and that just pretty much means going forward, back, and that locks in the stitching. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge right here and try and follow along this that marked path all the way down the full length. So I'll just quickly show you what I got so far. Just want to kind of show you what it looks like. I try to go to about 1/8 of an inch from the inside fold, and then the back side has a nice clean look to it. So already you can see that you can't tell that that material is frayed, and then on the next step we'll get rid these perforations will disappear. Okay, so I got my sides all the way sewn. As you can see, they look pretty nice. So anyways, okay, all sides are sewn. Now what we're going to do is work on the ends. So the first step is we're going to take about 1 inch of material, and we're just going to put a stitch about 1/4 inch from the edge. Then after that's done, what we'll do is we'll fold about 2 inches, and we'll run the sewing machine 3 times, and that first stitch will give us a nice line to follow. So I'll get that done, and I'll show you what that looks like. So hopefully you understand. This would be the ends of the hammock. So we're going to do one fold and 1 stitch about a 1/4 inch from the edge. So the heads up, this is what it's going to look like. So frayed edge will be sitting out. Put a stitch about a 1/4 inch from this edge right here where my thumb is. And then we're going to fold that over after this is done, and then the next 3 stitches will end up going on this side. Alright, so I just sewed the ends. Just to give you a quick look, here's a ruler. So you got about 1 inch of material turned over, and as you can see I have a 1/4 inch. So now after this, and I want to show you real quick that always lock your stitches. That'll prevent so much trouble. So now we have this sewn. We're going to fold it over about 2 inches. So we're going to fold it over about 2 inches with the ruler. About 2 inches. This will be the hem right here where your line goes through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew 3 times. And now we're sewing on 3 layers of material. This side has 2 layers, and then there's a stitch that will keep the inside part from fraying. So you end up getting a very strong end right here, which doesn't require cinching. So the first stitch I like to do on the outside, so it'll end up being about 1/8 of an inch from this folded area. And then the other 2, I'll put one about 1/8 inch from this side, and then one right in the center. And that's super strong, so I'll show you after I'm done with that. Okay, so I sewed the 3 stitches, or the 3 rows of stitching. The top row is the stitch that's holding over the folded part. The clean side has 3 really nice stitches, about 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch apart, which is super strong. There's a flapped layer which prevents this stitch from pulling, and then about 1 inch and a half wide channel. I don't like too wide of channels because I think you're just wasting material. That's the reason I don't cut this edge off either, because it looks fine, as you can see. So here's the presentation side. So I'm going to do this to the other side, and then I'm going to show you real quick how I sew in these foot boxes, and then how I sew in the bag on the hammock. Okay, so the hammock's essentially done, but now what we're going to do is we're going to mark the center just by folding the hammock in half, and then about 1 foot from the ends, and then about 6 inches to 10 inches from the center, we're going to fold this over, and we're going to start a hem. And this will be where our foot box elastic can go. And the other last step is I had already sewed a bag like this. This is the other hammock with bug net suspension and ridgeline. Is we're going to sew a bag onto the end like this, onto the hammock like this. It'll be sewn just like this. So as you can see, the hammock is sewn to the stuff sack. What's nice is if you're laying sideways in the hammock, you can stuff something in there and use it as a pillow. You can also stuff books, water bottles, and that way you always got something accessible right on the side of you. So we'll mark center, mark about 1 foot from the end, sew those over, sew the stuff sack on, and this hammock will be done.